Yeah, you got something you can rest that on to keep it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is it too high?
No,
No.
that should be good. You're good to go too.
So you just say when you want me to start.
You are good to go.
I'm talking already. All right. So anyways, the inspiration for some of these paintings, Leonardo da Vinci this year was forefront. And this famous painting he did, a young lady with an ermine. And I think I've reversed it here. I wanted to do a mirror image of his. And then I got my own models and I updated it. So I didn't want to really stick with the old, clothing. So the girls were wearing whatever they would wear. Sometimes I got them to wear some things, but this is how I got my ideas started. I was, like I said, I've embraced the digital age. I was doing some fussy cutting, and then you get your pictures and you figure out how it's going to go, and you fussy cut. And old Lauren here, I wanted to have her with a bobcat. So, she didn't actually hold a bobcat, but I asked her to have her hand so it looked like she was going to be scratching its head. She did a great job. She's from California. But
cool.
Pretty much all the models I have are all my friends. If you're a friend of mine, there's a chance I'm going to paint you. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to give you an idea of how I work out ideas, and then if you want to go to the main wall here, and this is what I've been working on this year. I call it the Whisperer series. And it's just been a lot of fun to make. It really has been. And all these young, beautiful models of mine. I'm a blessed guy. Halen is a great niece of mine. It's her first time modeling. She's in 3 of the paintings that are on the walls right now. Beautiful girl, 16. And so obviously she thought, like, my uncle's nuts having me hold a raccoon. But everybody knows I'm nuts. It doesn't matter. And that's my youngest daughter, Layla, with the opossum. And Layla, I could brag her up forever. She's the spelling champ of BC when she was 12 years old, and represented Canada in the spelling championships. She's a smarty pants. And so is her big sister, Coco. And Coco is, I guess she's like my main muse. She's been in so many of my paintings. It's funny, you have some kids and born for the camera, and other ones like, yeah. And so I'm dragging Layla out to take her picture, and Coco, she's a professional, man. She's into it. She's a model. Yeah, and I think it kind of shows Layla. It's like, what the heck? This is kind of, and their expressions that the models give, I think, are just telling, who they are and what the heck they're doing. So it's a lot of fun. And a couple of them are still under construction, unsigned, the 2 in the end here. And it's one just led to 2, and 2 led to 4, and I thought, wow, I got 4 as a package, but then it went to 6, and then went to 8, and I think I might have to cut it at 8. I made one canvas. It was a weird size, I don't know, 28 1/4 by 21 inches, and it was the leftover scraps, and I did the painting. And so then I had to make all the paintings the same size. All these canvases are this obscure size that you'll never be able to buy a frame for, so I'll be framing them all.
It's crazy how, like I was saying, you can take the image that we were just looking at and quite literally to a T map it.
My buddy Brad comes in, he says, your wife always wears the toughest clothing for you to wear, whether it's a pleated floral thing or a tartan, and he's right. So anyways, she wore this knitted sweater, and I've been just having a heck of a fun time painting it. Yeah. And everything has to go in layers, like the hair has to be on top of the sweater, so the sweater has to be done first, and then the bird's on top of the hair, so it's got to be done next, and everything's on top of the backdrop. So I mean, everything has its own time of finish. This painting's getting quite close now. The small brushes are on it, so it's not quite as important. But I will be finishing up the hair, and you'll see that it's kind of blocked in pretty nice, but it doesn't have any of the strands that are really pushed in it. Yeah.
When you're going, because you have to start, like you said, you have to get the sweater done before you can do the hair.
Yeah.
And then continue
you just
with your
paint
layers.
right over it.
Yeah. How long of a process is it to get to that point where how long did it take to get to that initial layer before the hair came up top? How many layers is there?
It's kind of, I drew it, and then I did a wash on it that roughed it in, and then I painted it pretty tight, and then I tightened it up again, and when I go into it one more time, it'll be going in between all these little creases and starting to work in the fluffy wool bits that come. Yeah, I can get carried away. I really can.
I love it though, right? Like that's the detail that I don't think most people would pay attention to, which is really like, for me, the glove.
The leather glove.
The amount of detail that you put in on just the gloves is mind-blowing.
Now I never took this photograph. Like my model's from California, so she dressed up and she wore black rubber gloves for the shoot.
Oh, okay.
I just so happy. It's like I've never had that before.
The textures that you get to work with on that.
Yeah, so many great textures in this painting. A lot of fun.
And you capture it so like...
She's a hoot.
You capture it so beautifully too. Like when you see it on the camera and you get a real close up, the detail never fails. It only gets better as you get closer to it. And that's where it's like, how do you manage to capture that essence so beautifully? That just it blows my mind that you can.
Well, I practice a lot.
Right. There's lots of practice, but
yeah,
there's just something else. There's like, it's the way your mind works, I think, is just a little bit more unique than other portrait artists that I've met. I love what you do. It's magical.
Thank you.
Like there's people who can capture an image, but to completely...
And yet I don't even think of myself as a magic realism. I know some realist painters, like real realist painters. I feels like I'm doing a lot of editing. The mother of invention is alive and well in a lot of my work, trust me. So it's not really pure realism, but I guess it could be construed as like a magic realism.
Yeah.
Now this painting here is... this is a model I had probably 10 years ago. She's moved to Scotland now. This is Danny Carnell, and Daniel is just like, I don't know, the most photogenic person I've ever worked with. Just so beautiful. And I've painted her a number of times. I need another photo shoot. I might have to fly her in from Scotland.
Just to do another photo shoot?
Just to do another photo shoot. Yeah, she's so great. I just love her so much. But this photo shoot was taken down at Kickaninny Park. Okay. And I had my mother's wedding dress, and I found it in a box in the basement. And I asked if I could borrow it. She grudgingly gave it to me, and it was kind of yellowed. It was a 1955 Hudson Bay. It was in the box. $37 was for the dress. That was a lot of money back then. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I went to get it cleaned at the dry cleaners because it needed to be cleaned up for the shoot. That was $100, and she said, I gave you a deal. But she talked about how great the cotton was back then and how it stands up when the new cotton doesn't. It falls apart. And so that old dress is just really strong still. It's in good shape. So, and of course, it fit Danny. I was just pleased as can be. And I had to go buy a bouquet of flowers, and there's another $40, and then I had to pay the model, and then you have to wine and dine them afterwards and stuff. It's not cheap models, you know, they're money. But it's worth it, right?
It is,
and I got to treat them like they're doing a job too, and they come and they dress up and they get right into it as well, and I really appreciate it. I love my models.
It'd be an honor to have you do a portrait of somebody, just because of their skill sets, right? Like if you're like, hey, I want to do a photo shoot, they're like, I'm down.
Yeah. Hardly anybody's doing, portrait work anymore. It's all done on camera and whatnot. So it's very few. And I mean, it's not cheap to get me to sit behind a brush for 6 months, and there's that too. But I do have a patron that's been keeping me alive for the last few years. I've been painting his two daughters. And one's 17, one's 21. Gorgeous girls. And they dressed to the tens. I couldn't believe, they said doing some pastoral paintings of them, sort of like this one, but more high realist. I mean, my client loves the realism. For that one, is total realism. And
that's so cool.
You're painting the shadow underneath the grain of sand in the beach.
Yeah.
And then it's okay. This one here, this is one of my loosest paintings ever, and I gotta say, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm still exploring. This entire backdrop is done in an expressionist style, and it's a far cry from realism. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to keep the focus on the model and then break up the realism as it goes around. So even on the foreground, if you look down in here, I mean, that's just it's a bunch of chatter. It's suggested grass, but I'm not painting grass for say so much down there as I would in other paintings, where every little blade of grass is going to be pushed in. And so I'm kind of loosening up, and this painting here was quite a joy to make.
It's so stunning. My favorite part is how you capture, like you said, your focus is on her, the flowers, and it eventually fades into the like the baroque or bouquet or whatever it is of the camera work. But my favorite thing is the layers. Like there's so many different visual layers that it's just it's fun. Astounding.
I think for the people that are painters, is one thing that I always have an eye for is quality of line, and it's one of the things that I like to work with. Like if you really zoom in on this feather here, you'll see that I painted yellow and I painted white into it, but you'll see there's like a little halo around it, and it's subtle, but if you come across the room, it's going to help pop that feather off that dress.
Yes.
And it creates that illusion that I'm seeking. And I do it with all the paintings. It's subtle. If you really zoom in on it, you'll see that I've created a halo around the models, except for this one. I wanted that one dark.
Yeah, just because it makes it, her clothing makes it pop, as where the backgrounds definitely help emphasize.
She's got such a serious look.
Yeah, it's just such a rock. For me, it looks like a Wicked album cover. Like she should be like that's a rap album.
I've done some album covers. Yeah. Some of my war paintings.
That's so cool. So you've done where's that? I assume for a metal band.
No, rock and roll.
Okay. Yeah. That's so cool.
They're hard rock. You heard them, the Cogs.
Oh, okay, yes.
I will play some more songs for you when we're wrapping up.
Their album covers is something that I would love to see more bands work with artists again, versus try and go to the digital artists or the graphic designers.
Yeah, album covers was a big thing in my day. It was like, it sold the album. If it had the cool art, yes, it's like we would never listen to Yes unless the art was so cool.
Even the way, the things you don't think about. I'm like, oh, the veins are popping out of her hand, like the little details that like most people would overlook, or not really make a focal point of, which is just.
Yeah, when you're painting something like that, you just gotta focus on this. But today is hand painting day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're creating your palette for that job, and that's your focus. You don't care about anything else.
That's what I was going to ask about with the sweater. When you're going from the layers and you're having to do like the sweater itself to the hair and then back, is it hard to match those colors, or you?
Well, you remember how you mix that color up, and I can always
amount?
go to it.
Oh, okay.
I can always find the color.
That's awesome. So that's one thing I'm terrible with. My eye can't see colors. I swear I'm colorblind in one way or another.
Well, most of us see different. Let's face it. I mean, I got not a perfect vision. I'm a 19/20, not a 20/20. So I mean, I'm going to have things that are going to be out of focus at certain parts of the landscape. Like I'm driving down the road, and I can't see it says 100. I just see a whole bunch of cereals, or it's blurry. I put on my glasses, I can see it, right?
Yeah.
But it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad, but everybody's a little different. And how we see color, I think it might be different too.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
I feel like I can't see the difference between red and orange. Like the mild shades in between.
Okay.
Or different shades of blue. Blue to purple. When it starts to get to that middle ground, I can't see the hue difference. So I'm like, oh, that's purple. And people are like, that's blue. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just don't know my colors.
Well, there's an argument that it's never going to go away.
So this is the one I was talking about earlier that just blows my mind. I can't even get it in frame.
You got to be back here to get it, maybe. I don't know.
Just the
that's my daughter, Colette, Coco. And like her daddy and mommy, she joined the ranks of artists. And she
just a painter as well?
She's a painter, drawer as well, and more of a conceptual artist than her old man. but she's totally professional. Now this piece here is Artemis, and when I was at the Louvre in Paris, there's this great big sculpture, a Greek sculpture of Artemis, and she's got this pose, and she's hanging onto a stag, and she's also reaching for her arrows. And so I recreated the pose. I bought the dress. My daughter dressed up in it, got the lighting where I wanted it, and got the tension, and I had to get the prop, and then the prop was silver. The artist had a silver bow, so I needed some silver paint. 20% off. $50. But, you know, I wanted a silver bow.
Yeah.
Now, could I have mixed up a blue and a gray and made it a silverish kind of thing? I could have. Mm-hmm. But
you wanted it.
I wanted it. And so this piece here, I wanted that tension between, you know, the cats and her. Something's going down, but nobody really sees what's going on. And the funnest part about this painting for me is the Boreas, the cloud that's painted behind her. Mm-hmm. If you zoom in on your camera and move around,
you can see so much.
There's a lot going on in there, and it's all chaos, and it's not chaos in the good way. And then the violence that the Greeks were portraying, I mean, it's very real. A lot of fun. And these are images of old statues or cemetery boxes that the Romans would have, and they'd have carvings in it. And I was borrowing from the classics to create this thing.
I love that concept of how you did it.
This is another one too that's got a great big kind of a halo in it. I just kept on pushing it. You can have to call the line there.
Yeah, like where the elbow is.
Yeah.
And around the elbow, I love how it makes that pop. Like that reminds me of like a tattoo work almost. The way you made that pop by using that outline.
And I just kept on pushing it further and further. Like, how far can I push this push and pull, as I call it? And I was having fun with this one because it's a magical thing. It doesn't have to be real. I want her glowing. I want her having an aura that stands out like a god would.
Like the detail on the dress. All the little wrinkles and folds, and even the fact that, like, when you look at it, like, you can visually see that would be...
Yellow's a tough color.
Pops out.
Yellow, it's because it's really non-forgiving. If it's sitting on top of something that's not the right color, it's going to come through. Mm-hmm. So you got to be pretty sure-footed when you're running your yellows, and you got to keep your brush clean, because anything that's dragging from a dark back into a light is going to just, you have to be rubbing it out. And it's
especially with oil too, right?
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing that I've after is, I love the fact that there's the bird there.
Well, I created the stage. I mean, the idea of the painting with the cheetahs. I mean, artists always hunted with hounds. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to make cheetahs.
Why not?
Well, I'm an artist. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like Bob said, I'm God, right? So cheetahs it is. But it's for this one here wasn't really any doctoring around. I wasn't Dr. Clark for this one. I did some portraits over was Dr. Clark. You get the client, and they demand that they want to be 25 pounds thinner, and the wrinkles come out. I call it idealistic realism. It's kind of fun, you know, and everybody's happy. And my friends come over and they call me Dr. Clark, and I think it's just fun.
There's more over here too. These ones are incredible. I was trying to see this one while we were doing the interview.
No,
I didn't see it last time I was here.
That's Halen again, and that's my 16-year-old great niece. And she does not have blue eyes, but I painted her as Athena Pallas, the great Greek god. And of course, she was always known for her pale eyes, pale-eyed Athena, as you would call her in the Greek Odyssey.
Love it.
So beautiful. 16. I didn't have to do very much touching up with her. And for this one here, she's looking down. I took the shot looking up at her at a bit of an angle. And it throws you off a little bit, and it makes her almost look like she's not snooty, but she's looking down at you, right? Yeah. And I did this painting because I was doing another one of her, and I will be looking up her in this other painting as well. We'll get around to it. And so I just wanted figured out a few things. So I did this portrait. I'll probably just end up giving it to her.
It's the way you captured the blue eyes, though, is quite incredible. Eyes are always something that I've like struggled with when drawing and stuff because of all the detail that's inside. The galaxies that I like to call them that are inside of each eyeball is like so unique.
Yeah.
And capturing that itself is like, that's where the soul is, right? So it's like, how do you replicate that? It's like so harsh.
Okay, well, Leonardo's back.
I love that.
This is my version of the Mona Lisa. I sort of started one, I don't know, 6 years ago with Danny, and I had a picture, but it wasn't the right shot, and I gave up on the painting. I was bored, and I had some time, and it was, and the scale wasn't right. I made this exact same size as the Mona Lisa. I think it's 30 by 21 or something like that, whatever it is.
I always thought it was bigger.
No, it's not very big at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I asked my buddy Petra if she would pose for it. And I've known Petra for a number of years, and she's got this classical beauty that is perfect for it. And that's when I get nervous, when I have to ask somebody like that. It's like, can I take a picture of you? and then she says, yeah, you know what? Somebody else already painted me from another Leonardo painting when she was in art school. So it's not the first time she's posed for a Leonardo painting.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where like that scale of painting is like where I see you. You know what I mean? Like compared to modern day artists, is what you're doing is modern day Da Vinci. That's how I see your artwork. If that's the easiest way to describe it in a way that I'm like, I can describe it where you'll understand it, is you're creating
the classical influence.
What is going to be known as today's classical, when in 300, 400, 500 years, when people look back at our times and they're like,
just to let you know how far behind the times I am.
Because it's like, I don't know, there's something there, they'll live forever is kind of where it's like I'm getting at. I've seen lots of artists, but it's incredible what you do, and it just needs to be put, well, it's been in galleries, but you know what I mean? Like, it just if kids could see that, they'd be like, you can do that with a paintbrush? Yeah, hard work and dedication and skill.
Figure it out.
Yeah, there's so many. This is the one I was talking about earlier before we dive into the color theories. But
you might want to go to the other side of the table to shoot that. I don't know.
Yeah, I love this one.
This is Chase, BC, and that's the Shuswap Lake, and that's Little Shuswap Lake, I should say, and that's the Shuswap behind there. And there's the Thompson River coming through, and it's such a gorgeous site. It's like the most perfect painter's site ever. It was visited by the late great E.J. Hughes, I think in 1958, and I went on a trip. I followed his footsteps, and I was painting where he painted, and his drawings were so precise that if you moved this far back, the mountains would change. You could go back, and everything would fall right in place with what he was doing, and that's where I sat up, and I recreated his paintings. And this particular site, I couldn't quite get there because it was grown in where he was. So I'm a little bit to the right of where he was.
Okay.
But the valley's pretty much essentially the same. And I actually did another painting a little bit bigger than this from around the corner. It had the road in the corner. But this one here, the road was in front of me, and I was on the other side of the bush, in the bush, taking the photos of the painting I was going to do. So I started the painting, and then it hit the wall of shame. It's when I can't finish this. What am I doing? And then you put it against the wall, and then you revisit it, and then it sits for another couple of years, and you revisit it. And these three paintings are all in that same boat. These are paintings that I started, gave up on, and this year I pulled them out. And this one I finished, and I added the horses of the apocalypse in there. And of course, we all know about all the fires that went through Chase the last couple of years. So I got my fire horse coming through. So I darkened the painting a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I love that's where we were talking about. I was like, do you ever find that you just want to do something random and weird that doesn't fall in along the rest of your ideas, right? Yeah, like, and that's where I'm like, I love it because it's like those are the pieces that really.
And this painting here, people love this painting. They come in, I like this one, and this is the one that I'm struggling the most with. And I did a little bit of work on it this year. I changed a lot of things, added this and this, that, changed it. But I'm still looking at it, and I don't know if I'm going to finish this painting. I think I started it when the Russians invaded Ukraine, and I decided I need to make another war horse painting. And then it's like, oh, they're hard paintings to make because they're kind of dark. It's a lot easier to paint beautiful girls in a pastoral setting.
I was going to ask, do you find that, like, because you do like this,
You get into
this
the
is
mood
kind
of
of
it?
where I was saying, like, it's not controversial, but it makes you think. It's like that artwork that is meant to make you stop for a moment and not enjoy the beauty, but think about what the message is behind it. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you have to sometimes
have a little bit of that,
like you have to sometimes like censor yourself on like a specific thought or image that you wanted to paint because you're like, it's not going to get through now because it's not the right time, and then an event happens and you're like, oh, there the image works, the war horse, or like
The war horses invaded my art. Oh man, 10 years ago, I started making some crazy war paintings, and not really crazy war paintings, like really crazy.
I'd love to see them because that's, to me, is like the fact that you can take.
This is tame in comparison to some of the other stuff I was making.
Well, right, but that even the fact that you can go from portraits and giant, beautiful pieces that are meant to make you go, wow, to like, oh, that's a dark painting, but it's got so much message behind it. I feel like those are some of my favorite. Maybe because of the metalhead in me, like the rock, the guy who likes rock, but like something about a picture, a painting that is controversial or invokes thought. I feel is so much. It's like super valuable, especially nowadays.
And yet, you know, there's something powerful about subtle too, right? And it really is. Like now, here's another piece that's unfinished. You might have heard of the Rush Brothers Restoration. They have a little TV show on Netflix or something.
Yep.
And it's in Tappan, BC. It's a shoe shop. So I went and visited them with my old car one day, and they were really great. And they invited me into their area, and I was taking pictures of their old cars. And their shop's right around the corner. That's the end of the shop. And I did the underbody for this painting, this is all the underbody. This is like the first coat. The lines have been set, and then the oil paints will go on this. This is actually acrylic paint.
Okay.
And that's okay. I mean, that rooftop might be the only thing that's finished on that. And I thought, oh man, do I want to have another car painting? Because I got a basement full of them. I'm not painting old cars. So I put it away. But I thought, well, maybe I have some horses. So I put the first one in. I thought, well, that works. I'm thinking maybe a row of horses coming down the background. And maybe I'll finish that painting.
So funny.
We'll see.
That'd be
We'll
a
see.
really cool theme. It's just like a different series.
Well,
Apart from the rest where you've got like the war horses constantly moving through different time periods.
Well, I'm painting the times, right? And
Yeah.
there's two ways to tackle it. Love and peace is always the way, but the reality is, it's war and chaos that's really kind of the forefront right now. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm bipolar, and it brings out the best of both me. I don't know.
I think as an artist, you see the duality and you find beauty in both.
Yeah.
The dark and the light, and I think that's what really makes your artwork stand out compared to a lot of other stuff that I've seen.
Now this painting is unfinished, and if I had a gun to my head, I could probably finish it in a couple weeks or something. But I mean, the rough idea of the horses and Helen coming through the sky is Athena, and I'm kind of blending religions because I got the old Greek pagan religion, and I got the horsemen coming down, which is all Christian based.
Yeah.
And she's having nothing to do with it. She's just coming down.
Stop what you're doing.
I want you to pose like this, Helen, like you're just gonna crush these guys. And old Helen.
Nothing
He's
feels
good.
better than when you see a vision too, and it comes to life.
My daughter was my assistant that time. I lied. I do have some assistants. and she had one of my big fans, and the fan was blowing on her hair while I was taking the photographs. And there's all Helen gets all dressed up and dolled up, and the next thing you know, her dad's taking pictures, and her cousin's blowing her hair with a big fan. I'm sure it caught her by surprise. So this is kind of a two coats are into it right now, and there's not a whole lot of definition going on in this thing. It's you see when I want to get the detail going.
I was gonna say, yeah, to you maybe there's not a lot of definition detail, but like they're still absolutely stunning.
It's a fun painting. It's just, I wanted to have her zapping these things, and this green
I love that.
The edges.
Yeah.
It's I got this tube of paint. It's a green light. What is it? Permanent green light, and the green is so green that it's like neon, and you won't see that green in nature. That's how green it is. And I've never been able to find a spot that to use it pure out of the tube. Not that I usually do that, but for this painting, that green was perfect because the neon, it looks like it's glowing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I finally found a use
pops.
for my permanent green light.
I love the color.
In the pure form.
Right? I love the color palette of that one. The teal blues and the blacks in the background. The Northern Lights too is just, I love it. It's so cool.
Thanks.
So when you're diving into the paint, like actual colors,
Yeah.
and you're creating specific colors, do you have to memorize the
palette?
not necessarily the palette, but the portions that you're putting in for creating the colors? Like, do you have specific blend?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that right away here.
Yeah.
For me, the palette is that's the backbone for the painting. Is you're working from your brushes, your tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I say, you get the Bob Ross palette, and you got $100 worth of paint there. And if you paint like me, you're gonna go through 3 of it, and you're gonna throw $97 worth of paint away at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
It's like paint only sits on the palette for so long. So when you tackle a job, it's like, okay, what am I painting today is the question. Okay, how much paint am I going to take? And you give yourself a little bit extra, because you don't want to be going into your tubes all the time to remix a specific color. That's a drag. Once I did a background blue sky blend. It was 8.5 feet by 6.5 feet. I don't know, it was a big canvas. And I had one day to do this blend, right? And oil paint's great. Acrylics, I couldn't have done it because it dries so fast. But the oil paint, I could get it on wet and then do all my blending. And for that one, you need to mix all your paint first because you so much of this and so much of that. And if I'm going to go back and then try and match that again, I wouldn't be able to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So I wasted a little bit of paint that day to get that job done.
That's kind of thing, like you have to think about how much you're going to use too, and that's just experience of how many times you've painted, right?
I paint that. I remember that too. I was in the that studio I was sharing with Ben in the Down Under, above the Down Under, and I went out to use the bathroom. And I came back into the room, and it almost knocked me over. The amount of fluids that I had put on that canvas, and all the terps and whatnot. It was like.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah.
No, I did an episode with my buddy Brent, and he uses oil paints, and I've never smelt them before.
Yeah.
Until we were downstairs in the basement, and he's pulling them out. I'm like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's the paint." I'm like, "Oh!" Like I didn't never would have thought about.
Yeah. So if I'm in the studio here and I'm doing a giant wash of some sort, the fans are on. I'm moving air because it gets pretty rank pretty quick.
Yeah, and the cleanup too. I can imagine is. Like when you're dealing with the paints themselves, it's a total different thing too than acrylic when you're dealing with oil, and oil is where the magic is.
Acrylics are great. They got their place.
Yeah.
I've got acrylic paint. I use it.
That's awesome.
But I'm an oil painter, and I'll go to the oils every time. So I'm going to spend a few minutes here going over colors for you people. I don't know if you want to set your camera so that it's going to be happy, or you want to move around, whatever.
I'll walk around.
All right. So I emptied my box for everybody. You can see what I got, and I want to talk about color with you guys. I mean, we got the earth tones. We'll start with them. We got yellow ochre, which goes into a raw sienna. And then this one here, this tube of paint's probably older than me. I have no idea where it came from. And it's called light red, but it's a earth tone red. It's quite lovely. And let's put a little bit of that out there.
Oh yeah, that is really nice.
Now the thing about earth tone colors, they're not sexy like the cadmiums, right?
Yeah.
And everybody wants to go right to the yellows and blues and greens and bright colors where all the money is. But I'm telling you, all the durability is in the earth tones. Like that mural I did of the Penticton bees. Ordinarily when I paint faces, I'm going to a cad red and a cad yellow mixing it down with white and a little bit of blue, get the skin tone. But if I would have painted that skin tone, the painting would be gone in 2 years. The light that's on there is in full light. As soon as that sun comes up the hill, it's on that wall, right?
Yeah, I never thought about that.
So I used a red oxide and a yellow ochre earth tones.
Okay.
And I didn't get the color just exactly how I wanted, but pretty close and close enough.
But it's lasted.
It's not 25 years later, those faces still look like the guys, right? So if you want durability and you don't want to spend huge amounts of money, get used to putting your earth tones into your paint. And you can go a long ways with these earth tones. You can do a lot of stuff with them that you just don't need to be pushing all these expensive paints out.
Yeah.
So the earth tones, you got the umbers, there's the raw, and there's the burnt umber. And the raw umber has got a little bit more blue in it. You can get a burnt umber and add blue to it and get there. It's not a big deal. But if you're a young artist, don't be shy of the earth tones. Those are going to be your best friends. It's going to help your painting, and they dry fast. So you can put a
Do they all dry different speeds?
All
depending
different
on
speeds.
Colors? Is that based on pigment and what puts put in it?
It must be, because whatever the binder is going to be the same. But like these reds here will take a week to dry on that canvas.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and these will be dried the next morning.
So that's what's always astounded me is I did an oil painting demo the other day, and I got to take one home, and I'm waiting for it to dry still, and I'm just like, it takes forever for oil to dry.
Some will, yeah. And there's tricks around that too, and it's like the mediums that you put in there. So if you put a safflower oil in there, it's going to keep the drying process nice and slow.
Okay.
But this one here is a solvent-free fluid. It's a Gamblin product, and it's for painting, and it's going to add a little bit of gloss to your paint. Okay. So it's going to help even out the surface at the end with that gloss. But it's a quick dryer. So a painting that would take a week to dry with this might only take a few days with this, right? It's going to speed up the process, but not so fast that you lose control of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So going down the lines of the yellows into the reds, these cadmium oranges here, I don't use the orange very much because you can mix the orange so fast with the red and the yellow, and it's going to be spot on. But nonetheless, that cad orange, it's not going to be quite that orange. So if you ever need a super orange, so I got these colors, and I hardly ever use them out, bring them out. Some of these paints have been with me for my entire painting career. Like this paint here was gifted to me from an estate of an artist friend of mine, Judy Foster, who passed on, and she had a bunch of paints, like this one here. It's probably from the 70s.
Oh, wow.
Ultric, I don't even know if the brand's still around, but the pigment, good stuff.
Love it.
I love the good stuff. So with reds, you got the cad red light, and it's a beautiful red. It's just a beautiful red, but you see it starting, it's not pure red, right? But the cad red medium, this is going to be your reddest red, right there. Can you see the difference in the two colors? And like this tube here, it'll probably last me 10 years because there's not too many red things out there that I need to lob the paint out on. Like that red is going to spread a long ways. Yeah. It's just a tiny little dot of red, but it is what it is. The alizarin crimson is now it's starting to move to the purple side. And if you want to make purple, and you don't have purple, you're going to want alizarin crimson. And it can make the perfect purple. And I'll show you, because this is purple, and this is another tube that I had from my days in college. So it's another 40-year-old paint tube.
It's crazy that it has a lifespan.
If you look after it,
it'll
hold on. So now this is the blue pile. And blue is maybe the hardest color. And I'll tell you why, because there's no such thing as pure blue.
There's not.
Here it is. When I was talking to me, Jim Tanner, when I started college, I had a really good technical painter that did this with me, what I'm doing with you right now. And the blue is just The ultramarine is on the blue side, because on the color wheel it's going to go to purple and it's going to go to green, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be on the purple side, and the phthalo blue is the one that's going to go on the green side. And so you got these two blues, and they look pretty much the same at this point. But if you add white to them, you'll see where they're going to start falling apart and changing. I'll put a little bit of white now. I just use a good titanium white. Again, a very slow dryer. It'll take a week to dry without any.
Is that the Gamblin?
Yeah, mostly all gambling here. It's American. I wish I had a good Canadian.
Did they sponsor? Do you have a sponsorship with them? Or have you ever worked towards, like, have you ever tried that with the companies before? Like, had a painting company?
I'm just an artist. They don't care.
Oh, they do. They do. If they saw your work, they would.
They have a competition. What they do every year is they mix all their leftover paints and they mix it all together and they come up with a gray and they call it Tort Gray. And at Christmas time, they send it to all their distributors and Opus Arts, whatever, and you go buy Gamblin paint, they'll give you a free one.
Oh, okay.
And so you got all these obscure different grays that are different from all the different years.
That's so cool.
And I think they have a contest where you're allowed to add one color and white, and they're Tort, and you have to make a painting.
That'd be so cool.
I've never done it, but okay, let's get a little bit of white on these. So this is the one that turns a little bit on the green side, and this is the one that turns a little bit on the. You can start seeing it fall apart.
It's funny because to my eye, I just see the same color blue, just one slightly lighter.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
But if you're going to make a purple, if I was to use that, it's going to turn muddier. But if I'm going to make a purple with the ultramarine and the alizarin crimson, this is the purple from the tube, and this is the purple I made. And you can always tell where you are by adding white to it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you see it's a little bit more red. I'll add some more blue to it. But it's pretty close.
Oh God. Yeah.
I can make my own purple and be really happy with it.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. One color that's really hard to make though is a teal or a turquoise. That one there, I just buy the tube. And
is that because it's blending the blue and the green with the perfect amount of white?
It's like that purity is that you know I can get to 94% on 100. You know what I'm saying?
So it's just a preference. You're like, I just can't get fully to that.
If I'm painting, you get those early morning sunsets or late night sunsets or early morning sunups, and you get that piece of turquoise on the bottom of the sky, and it's just singing to you. That's why I have that tube.
Okay.
Otherwise, and another thing I use these tubes for, this one here is the Radiant Turquoise. That's the tube of paint I've been using to knock down my skin tones.
Really?
And for years I was using different blues. I was using my favorite cerulean blue.
Okay.
Which is like a sky blue. But this one here, man, it does a nice job on. And when I'm doing skin tones for the day, that's about the size of a blob I'm going to put down.
Okay.
Right? Here's another little trick too. When you're a painter, you want to look after your ends. But if you got no paint that's sticking up like that, and you can squeeze the other side and it goes back down. And that way you're not going to make a mess of your yearly when you're putting it on.
That's genius.
Yeah, and because it is. So you get that paint.
Yeah.
See, they're always in a rush, and they don't even get the tube on. There's paint everywhere, and like I have an artist friend, and to him the experience is all about paint on him, and it's a nightmare.
The messier,
right?
the better.
And it's like no, I get paint on me. I'm cleaning up. It's really not good for you. It gets into your skin. And these things here, if it sounds like it's buzzing, like radioactive buzzing. It is. And look at these names on these things. You know, it's the cadmiums and the titaniums and the cobalts. And this one is a Indianazone. I don't know what that is. It's not great to get on your skin.
No.
Some artists are really sensitive and they'll wear gloves and stuff, but I just suck it up and just keep on going.
Right.
But I don't like to get too much paint on me.
Well, because you also got to take it off with like paint thinner, don't you?
You can, but if you scrub hard enough with soap, you can get it off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but unless it's Prussian blue. I've never seen a paint like Prussian blue before. Once I was out painting in a site once outdoors, and I forgot to bring my Terps. So anyways, I started painting, and I got this blue on me. So I don't know where it came from, but it was all of a sudden I was covered in blue, and then I looked, and it was on my pants. It was everywhere, and I had no Terps. So you're not going to paint for very long without Terps.
Yeah.
So I tried, but it was a failed trip. And the time I got home, the blue was now on the car, in my hair, everywhere you touch. It's quite the thing. Now, Prussian blue it's a darker blue than the other ones, and it's got way more oomph. Man, there's pigment in there. And I just love it. And I do so much work with my Prussian blue. I only got a few tubes of it left. And of course, that's the old stuff that came to me from
That was
the
gifted, yeah.
1970s. But it's a dirtier blue. It's not a pure blue. It's a little rougher. But it does make a great green. You can make use this and a little bit of the yellow deep, and you're going to have a nice viridian coming your way. That's a great viridian. And the thing about viridian green is when you buy a tube of viridian green, I don't know what it is about it, but it's got no life. It's
dull.
It's transparent. You know, and if I want transparency, I can find ways of making transparent paint. But I want to start with the thick paint. So this is a true viridian right here, and it's a pretty green, right? I don't think you'll ever see a green quite like that in nature. You're always going to be knocking it down with some sort of red. Get used to putting red into your greens, and all of a sudden they start looking natural.
That's funny, because I've always thought that it was adding a lighter green or a darker green to make it look more natural.
Red is your friend if you're painting green.
That's so funny. That's where like the color wheel, understanding color theory is just so key as an artist.
Yeah, and now this is the tube of permanent green light that I was telling you about. Now this tube of paint, again, it's probably one of those $70 tubes, and I don't really need it in my paint kit, but I got it. And that purity of green, you won't find that in nature. And you can knock that down with a little bit of brown or red, and all of a sudden it turns into something that you might recognize on a bush, right? Quite nice. But otherwise, unless you're painting a neon sign for A&W or whatever, there's no place in nature for that green. But it's a great green to have. And when I'm out doing landscape work or painting nature, I mix all my own greens pretty much. It's blue and yellow.
And you're just adding it in there.
Yeah, but there's so many different colors of blue.
Yeah.
And it's going to make different greens. But think about it, you go out to the field and you're looking, it's wonderful, it's springtime, and you're excited and you want to paint it. And then you realize it's a green grass in front of a green bush, in front of a green tree, on a green field with mountains in the background that were green that are starting to turn blue. And it's just all green, and it's hard to get that separation and make it exciting. So you got to be Johnny on the spot with your greens. So green's one of those funny colors that you really got to put a lot of time and interest into, and you know, and mixing it here before you go onto your canvas, it's going to help you a lot, because you get all the problem solving here. It's like when you're color matching, you know, you can work on the white. I got these disposable palettes. They're like $8 or $9 or something. I recommend it.
Yeah.
End of the day, when you're done, in the garbage it goes, no cleanup, but you can see the color. Whereas you got a dark brown thing that you've been wiping paint off all the time, and all this, color looks different when it's beside other colors. And it's hard to do a match. If I'm doing a photographic piece and I need to match a perfect color, you know, I'm mixing it here. I'm on the image and I'm trying to find it, but if this was brown, I'd be having way harder time. So one of those tools. It's another expense, right? But much necessary. So this is the cerulean blue, and this is the blue I used for sky for so many years. I had a buddy I used to paint with, Peter Corbett, and he was a cobalt blue guy. He loved this cobalt blue, and I was cerulean blue, and he was always make fun of me because of my cerulean. I'd make fun of him because of his cobalt. He's a great guy, great painter. We lost him last year.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, cancer got him. But anyways, that's his favorite blue cobalt, and that one will make a nice purple too. If you add that with some of that, you're going to get a nice purple. So it's leaning on the purple side. What else do we got over here? I did the Prussians. We got all the blues have been laid out. The turquoise, I put that down, and then we got the grays. You ever painted clouds and you see the gray in the cloud? Mm-hmm. And it's just a neutral gray, but if you stare at it, it's like, what color neutral is that? Is it a tan neutral? Is it brown neutral? And it'll tell you, right? And then all of a sudden you mix the gray, and it's off. It's like, and gray is a hard color to mix.
Yeah.
And all the best grays come at the end of the day when you get all the paint of your palette and you mix it all together, and you'd never mix a color like that ordinarily. When you can find the best grays that way. Yes, it's funny.
I was gonna say my daughter's really good at making gray and brown.
Yeah. But I got this
Mix all the colors together.
All these limited edition, they call it. Yeah, it's limited, all right. And this one, you see it's going towards the brown side, and this one here is almost going towards the dark black side, right?
I just put in why artists do that. Mm-hmm. Put the color, they paint the color on the outside. Wow.
There's
my slow brain for you.
Yeah, that way I can see which one it is, right?
Yeah, no, I always see my friends doing that, and I'm always just like, oh, it's just the paint on their hand. But I'm like, that one's a stroke. Like that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And now there's the titanium white and there's the zinc white. The zinc white it's almost like a glazing white, right? Because it's such a thin pigment base. It doesn't have much power at all to it. But if you're trying to glaze with white, you're just going to turn everything milky. Mm-hmm. You really can't glaze with white unless you want to milkify it. I know of artists do that. They make things look old by putting a thin white wash on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of brilliant, really. I would be using this for that. So I never use this tube of paint. I still have it. And then there's a transparent blender. And it's like the paint without the pigment, really. That's all that is.
Okay.
So it's like glazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can use it for glazing. You can thin down a paint. And the only reason to thin down a paint is because you want to glaze something. Mm-hmm. Paint's translucent, so you paint a color on a white and you paint a color on a black, the same color, it's going to look different because you're looking through the paint, it's picking up the background, the light, and it's coming back. So if it's black, it's dead. If it's white back there, it's going to show. And so that's one of the reasons we layer, right? And yeah, the importance of layering.
Is there a difference between when you're using acrylic versus oil and the way you should layer? Yeah,
you can never oil on top, put acrylic on top of oils, but you can put oils on top of acrylic.
Okay.
So sometimes I have a large painting and there's a giant section that needs to be undercolored. I'll use the acrylics because I'll just keep the odor down, right? There's no odor with it. But if I have a large space that I have to put the terps onto it, the room gets really rowdy quick.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got a pile of acrylic underneath the table, right underneath where we're talking, and it comes out. And I do my murals. All the exterior stuff I do is all acrylic paint.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do a realist painting on acrylics.
But when you're painting with oil versus acrylics, when with shades or tones, is there a difference between which should go first? Like dark. I know for darks are easier to put onto lights, but it's harder to put light onto a dark color.
I always.
Is it the same way with oil?
You want to work from the darks up.
Yeah, so it's the same way with oil.
Throw your darks down first.
Okay.
And build up to the light. Acrylic is a son of a gun because it changes color when it dries. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And it blends super easy, and then you're like, oh, I didn't want that.
Well, you do a nice section, and then all of a sudden it dries, and the color's off. It's like, Oils don't. So you're not fighting that problem. So if I want to do an acrylic piece, I'm always adding a little bit of white to it and lightening it, knowing that it's going to darken up as it dries.
Oh, okay.
And it's not for the Miko, you know. That's a hard thing to do because you still don't really know what the true color is going to be unless you're doing little experiments on the corner, and until you finally get your. And the time you do all that, I've mixed up the oils, done the job. It's perfect. I'm moving on, right?
Yeah.
So oil paints are the answer for me, and good oil paints. It's you can't be working with lousy tools. It just kills me that the idea that student paint and cheap brushes for people learning how to paint. It's like, why would you handicap somebody trying to learn? Give them the good stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
totally, right?
Yeah.
No, it does make sense. And I think it's a valuable point too, like the lessons of the color theory, because I don't, but personally, I love painting, but I have no understanding of like color theory of the color wheels. Even as a photographer, I'm still learning that. So it's to understand the relations between colors is it's a complex thing for me to understand. Like I have to relate it to music.
Yeah.
Like even editing photos, I have to relate to EQing and producing music because it's how I relate. So I've always found painting as like a very, not intimidating, but there's so much more to it than just putting paint on a canvas.
Well, you can get in trouble fast. If you're looking to make a color and you make it wrong, you just mixed up a whole pile of paint that's the wrong color. And it gets very expensive. So you want to work out your problems here. If you got a great big green section and then you're working on this kind of scale to find it, that's your friend. And when you figure out how to make the color, what you got to do, then you can pour down the tubes and get at it. Most colors need a combination of 3 or 4 things to make the color. It's just the way it is. There's some colors you can mix different ways, right?
Okay.
The grays or the browns, lots of different ways to find it. And artists get at it differently. Yeah. A quick time out.
Yeah, I'll just take a look at this.
Hey, I'm right in the middle of something there, my friend.
No worries. Is Gibby coming down?
I hope not.
Okay.
It's pretty cool to see the amount of colors when you get close up. You really see the blending. That is so cool.
Okay, so you want me to throw some brushes down, don't you?
If you want to, yeah, we've got about 10 minutes if you
Perfect
feel
amount
like
of
it.
time. Let's do that. Now, there's so many different brushes. I got 100 brushes over there. You can go and have a look at all my brushes. Some are old, some are new. Everyone's got a little bit of a story. Everyone's got a little bit of life left in it.
And that's the thing too, that each one has a different job too, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's good to have the instructors who can teach you what it takes to actually be a painter. Because I think that's one thing that lacks. Is like we're taught how to understand it and start it, but to turn it into what you do and a living I think that's what eludes people most of the time. You can see the light starting to come through.
The
now.
life of an artist. Everybody thinks that we're a bunch of bohemians and they have this idea of what an artist is. They should be poor and, oh man, we're stereotyped, you know.
Yeah.
That's us artists.
Big time.
Big time. But all these different brushes, all these different things to do. The best way to learn how to run a little round brush is the alphabet, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
So let's throw a signature down and we'll sign off with that. So I'm going to get this in the right position. You want to be right where you want to be. So I'm going to be painting that signature right down there.
Do you have to do multiple runs over a signature?
No,
Usually, or just
one
once?
coat. Now, the thing about the signature, if you're an artist, you got to have your own signature. It's your trademark, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's got their own. Some people scratch it on the wet paint, and some have a nice fluid signature, and it's like a descriptor. That's the way signatures are is it tells a little bit about the artist. Now, if you look at my signature, it's the most boring one ever. It's just a nice, clean, even script, and and I remember when I was young, I had to come up with this, it has to be the same. So I've been running the same signature for, I don't know, I guess, well, I'm pretty old, a long time. And I thought of changing it, back in the mid-90s, there's another Glenn Clark, and he became the premier. And then when it happened, I thought, oh, this isn't good. This is going to turn out bad. And it did. Glenn was changing, making deals on the side and getting decks built for little friendship things and whatever. And he ended up being the most hated premier in the history of BC, maybe. And it was a tough go. I wasn't selling paintings after him for a long time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I did a mural once downtown, and the new owner came and he blackened it right away because he saw it was Glenn Clark on there, and he just and he just painted it black.
You're like, totally different one.
Yeah,
Don't hate me.
I'm serious. I had once I was trying to get a motel room on a painting trip, and I got turned away because the guy didn't like my name. So there's something about name recognition. Can you imagine being Donald Trump and all of a sudden you're trying to sell paintings?
Yeah.
So it's your brand anyway. So the signature is your brand. So
funny.
my brand is a nice even script in the lower corner. Now I got my lean thing. I'll lean into it. I'm going to get this a little higher. I'm going to paint red because the red's here and it'll just go away. Now I'd like to put a little bit of tape down to help guide my lines. So I can't put guidelines down, but I can definitely throw them down with the tape. So a lot of artists, what they do is they want to put their signature right at the very bottom. So it's in the corner and it's hidden. And then the framer comes and puts the frame around it and just takes it away. So don't quite hit the lower corner. Come up half an inch. That's all I'm saying. Because
that's smart, even with like watermarking your photos online too, hey?
So this is the distance I want. I wanted it down a little. That's a good distance right there. I'll do that here. Okay, Glenn Clark. Now, like I was saying, the alphabet, if you want to learn how to run one of these little round brushes, the best thing you can do is just get a white board and draw your lines and then do the alphabet A, B, C, D, and you're going to learn how that brush moves and how it doesn't move, because that thing's going to flip around on you, and you're going to have paint going left when you want it going right if you're not doing it right. And especially doing circles, when you got to do a C, you do a half a C and you come up the other way and you join in. Little things like that, and you're going to learn that when you do the alphabet, and you're going to be a better painter for it. Spend a few hours, do the alphabet.
And that's wicked advice.
It is good advice. Now, I'm going to bring out my tiniest brush. This thing's got about 8 hairs. Some camel did not have to die for that brush, right? And I got the paint. Now, I've already mixed it. It's pretty fluid. It's not a pure red. It's been muddied up with all this other stuff, but that's okay. I don't want a pure red down there. It's just going to sing too loud. And I'm going to put my palette over here. And if you make a mistake, you can always wipe it out. You can always wipe it out. It's tough. So anyways, start with the G. A lot of what I do with my painting is I'll get tricky. I want my signature to disappear. So I'll mimic the colors underneath it. I'll just change it a bit.
Okay.
So it's almost like it's camouflage, right? And people, I want my painting signed. I'm going, oh, it's signed. Okay, so up and then down around the corner. There's your C. And this kind of muddy pink, I just, what do we call that, a salmon?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's perfect. It's just, nobody's going to see that signature unless they go looking for it. Okay, so I got too much paint there. That's good. 26. Another one for 26. And 26 is on its way, baby. There.
So cool.
There you go.
You can't even see it. It's hidden so well. That's awesome.
Well, it might be a little devious.
No, I love it. That's so cool. It's been absolutely incredible to learn your story and your process, and your work itself is,
Well,
it's just mind-blowing.
I know I was talking about the digital age and trying to find things in lights and darks. So like when I work, I usually like to have my subject matter to my left because I'm right-handed. If it was over here, I wouldn't see it, right?
No, fair, yeah.
And I don't like to fight scale now, so I got a program that I can blow up and paint things to the same scale, so I'm not fighting scale as I'm dealing with all the color. But on this one here, the red flowers behind there were just turned into mud, right? Mm-hmm. And in the old days with the analog, the only way I'd have a good look at that was to run it through a machine where they break it down for a printing process. And the yellow would be separate from the blue and so forth. And in the yellow section, I might be able to see what's going on. But with the digital, I can go in there and I can run all my contrasts and values and make them disappear where those dark areas start to show what's really going on underneath that, right? Mm-hmm. And then I can see it again. And it's like, oh, okay.
Now I see what you mean by working with the contrast.
Yeah.
And blowing it up so that you can see the detail a lot more.
So, you know, like there's some stuff going on in there, right? Where in here it was dead and I wanted life. So I did that, put the life in.
Yeah.
Painting's better.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Another one too was her hat was in the printing process, it turned flat and black. But when I took all the contrast
then you can see the folds.
And also I can see what's going on in some of these little folds and whatnot, and where the light's hitting things, and even in the hair I'm seeing things that I'm not seeing here. Yeah. So now I have a better understanding. I'm going to paint it dark like that, but I'm going to know what's really going on. So.
See the actual detail that's hiding in the.
And that's just embracing technology, and I think artists have always done that. We embrace photography, and at first it's like, you're cheating, and it's like, yeah, but now it's standard pair. And then for a lot of artists that are realist painters, I mean, it's part of it. You want your paintings lying flat so that they look like a photograph, and you got to get your image onto the canvas. And there's, the classic way is to draw grids and draw it, and or run it through a projector and throw it on the screen, and that's kind of the standard way. So so that's what I do now. I have a projector, I have a look what's going to go on. I'm happy with the scale. I'll build the canvas to the size, and then I'll shoot the projector on there and I'll do an outline of what's going on, and then I'll spend a few days drawing it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but the projector is going to blur things so much that it's not really drawing, it's just getting an outline, and it's going to save me a week of fighting through with my calipers, making sure things are in the right place, right? And it's like, why wouldn't I use that tool?
Yeah.
It's
making it so much easier.
Well, you have to, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
No, that's true.
And now we got AI to deal with, and a lot of artists are moving towards AI for garnering ideas and who knows what, right? And it's something I don't even know how to use it. AI. I think it's on my computer. I don't know. I've never used it. I got no interest in it.
It's been an absolute pleasure to sit and talk with you and your art and learn your story and pick your brain with color theories and absolutely everything about it. This interview has been inspiring in so many levels, and especially for me, learning the way your process helped me with my photography and understanding, like, oh, okay, now I see things a little differently. And that popped out. That was like a eureka moment kind of a thing with.
Nice.
So it's nice when you can dive into other art forms and learn something from them.
Well,
which is magical.
This is my little happy place.
Right?
Yeah, I took a couple years off painting to build it. I was in the basement, and I couldn't do large scale down there, and the lighting was barbaric, and so when I got this place started, I remember I didn't have the heating system put in place yet, and it was wintertime, and I was in here, and I could see. So I was like that time, that story, it was -2 and we were painting.
Yeah.
That was me that winter. I've been here, I had my studio downstairs still, but I was in here with my sweaters and toques and painting because I could
Painting.
see. Yeah,
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip this around. Yeah. I'll shake my hand. Clean my hand off. Thank you so much for having me. It's been absolutely incredible. Your story, your artwork, like I said, is mind-blowing. Your mind is creative as all could be. And I want to thank you for your story, your time, and having me here.
It's just been a privilege.
It's been
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
If you guys would like to be a guest on the show, there will be a QR code at the bottom of the screen. You can scan, and we'll get in touch with you. From all of us at StoryHive On Location, I'm Robb, and this has been StoryHive On Location Kelowna. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace and love.